Hey, Mike Savage, I see you there. I'm assuming you can see me now. Blarg had a little problem. I don't know what's up with um, this stupid Streamlabs mobile. I set up the streams like I'm supposed to, start the stream, and it doesn't work. So can you? I'm assuming you can see me, right? Hi, Rick Ashbringer. How you doing? I'm assuming you can see me. Hello to you too. Hello again, Avocado Diabli. Apparently everyone can see me now. That's a good thing. We'll let a few people catch up because everyone put a 1 in the chat. Tom Ledwick, how you doing? Good. That's good. All right. So you're going to have a lot of truck noise today because I don't have a microphone set up for this. I wonder if I should do that. I'm in the beginning of about a 3.5 hour drive. Hey Jason, how you doing? You are not speeding. Drive faster. No, I'm not speeding because I haven't even left my city yet. Run that bus off the road. No. I can tell this is going to be fun. So I didn't have a show this morning because I had a bunch of stuff to do before I left town today. Tomorrow we're going to be working from. I'll be at the Drake Relays in Des Moines, Iowa, drinking beer. Doing shots. Well, maybe doing shots. I haven't decided I'm going to do shots yet. What? Jerry Springer died? No shit. Wow. Yeah, road trip. So for those of you who don't know, every year, me and my college buddies all meet in Des Moines, Iowa, where we went to school, Drake University, and we head down for the Drake Relays. Now, the Drake Relays is very, very much like homecoming at most schools. For whatever reason, this giant track meet they've been doing for about 100 years. And the Drake students basically treat it like a party week before finals, a couple weeks before finals, and the alumni come in, all come into town and hang out and usually fill up the bars and drink a lot of beer and alcohol, whatever, and hang out. Drake really still with 0 dragons and 100% disappointed because of it. Okay. Now, I want to test something while I got you guys. I have you captive, or you have me captive. I haven't decided which. I want to test these microphones. If it sounds better with the microphone, or if this is going to sound better with just the, well, if I can find the damn thing before the light turns green. If this will sound better with the microphones, or if it's going to sound better with just the microphone from the truck. But maybe. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'll test that. I guess I don't have to take the battery out. Hello, Renee Mayette. Hello, Rexion Puerto Rico, and Septus Wolf. What's happening? So, oh shoot, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this thing will go in there. Well, we'll see. We'll have to try this. I don't even know if this will fit. Nope, it will not. So we'll just you're gonna have to hear the truck noise all the way here. Anyway, so like I said, heading to Des Moines, Drake Relays, hang out with my college buddies, drink too much, and have a lot of fun, and go out to eat. And we we guys have known each other for what, 35 years or something like that. Or let's see, in 26 it'll be our 40 year college reunion. Holy shit, that's a long damn time. And it's just one of those things. About 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, one of our college buddies, one of our close friends, passed away. He was one of my roommates in college, and and we all called each other. We're like, damn, we didn't even know this happened. And we said, you know what? We got to make it a point to see each other every year. So, so we've done it for the last 10 years. We've been going back every single year. Des Moines is not the most exciting town. It's not a bad town. There's some nice stuff going on there, but right around the Drake campus, all the alumni come and hang out at Peggy's bar, where they put up a big tent. Hang out at West End Lounge, which was our bar that we hung out at in college. And we tell the same stories every year. We do the same stuff every year, and it's still a blast every single time. Hello, Green Badger Outdoors. Nice to see you. So that's what we're doing. You're going to be a dashboard driver for this whole thing. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I changed the font on the chat so I could see it. I didn't even realize you could do that until one of those trail stop streams. So now I can kind of see the chat as I glance over there. So I don't have too many topics to talk about. So you can suggest stuff in the chat eventually, or eventually we'll do it. Ask me anything. But there is one topic that I wanted to talk about today. Something. This is a flop with Big Show. No. There have been some recent Pew Pew ending events, right? We had the one in, was it Nashville, where oh, wow, that guy lost his entire wheel. In Nashville, that was the one where the transgender person, trans man, woman, whatever, shot school. Then we had the one in Louisville, Kentucky, where the person came in and shot him a bank. We had the one in Atlanta, right? The birthday party one, okay? Now, we saw with the birthday party one, you haven't got a whole lot of information about that one. And the one in Nashville, we did get some information about it, but they refused to release the manifesto, right? We talked about that a couple days ago. And there was the one in Louisville, Kentucky, which you're not hearing a whole lot about either, but what we've found out is the one in Louisville, Kentucky, that guy basically was an anti-gun person who decided they wanted, because I had no idea, or it was probably from yesterday, but whatever. Did any of you know that in the birthday party shooting in Atlanta, did any of you know that they've caught 5 of the 6 already, and they just caught the 6th person yesterday? And what's weird is it seems like when we're talking agendas, right? That certainly is part of it. It certainly is part of it because, well, like I said the other day, whenever these events happen, the ones that are the most sensational are the ones that are the most unusual. Okay, so anytime, and especially if the demographics are there to fit the narrative. So if it's a white right-wing, Dylan Roof type, whatever, we're going to hear about that one ad nauseum. Like you still hear about Dylan Roof all the time. People bring up Dylan Roof because it's such an unusual event that everyone remembers it, right? But when there's some nigga shit going on in the hood that happens every day, well, they don't want to talk about it. And so I got to thinking about, how they talk about the FBI and the Justice Department says the biggest threat to whatever our nation and our peace and our democracy is the possibility of these radicalized right-wing people, right? But if you look at the events over the last, couple months, isn't it strange how you've got the transgender person You've got the one who's just trying to prove you can do it, anti-gun person. You got the guy in Colorado who claims to be non-binary. You have and then you have this Atlanta thing, right? And it's like, why is it? Does the Justice Department ever say? Because these all seem to be left-wing people, right? I mean, in theory. But why are we never talking about the left-wing radicalized people? And now there's a couple of videos on YouTube and TikTok and whatever, and on Twitter. There's this transgender thing who claims to be a woman, looks like about a 55-year-old dude, and not look. If you walked into a convenience store and this person was in there, you would never think it was a woman. But he has the long hair on one side and the short hair on the one side and some colors in it and whatever, claiming to be a woman, right? And he has a whole video out there. You've probably seen it. He has a whole video out there talking about how as a transgender woman. Oh shit! He's trying to get over here or not? Oh no, is he braking? What is he doing? Okay, I was just trying to figure out what this truck is doing. Sorry, dude. We waited too long. Anyway, so this guy's talking about how he's locked and loaded, he's armed, and he needs to protect himself, and he needs to protect transgender people. And if you ever try to stop a woman from using a bathroom, well, you're gonna do some stuff. I'm like, that kind of sounds like some radicalized. That sounds like some radicalized shit right there. What up, Jessica? How you doing? Yes, I am driving safely. I am being very careful. So anyway, so why isn't there now, since most of these most recent incidents, several of them in a row, have been people who are probably radicalized left-wing people, right? So it's fascinating just how they don't see that. They don't see that shit. What the hell? Oh, that's a Ferguson. Okay, look what the hell's going on there. So anyway, Biden, come get your boy. By the way, if you hadn't noticed, I have put a couple new short form videos up. You probably saw those earlier today. So anyway, that's something I'm fascinated about. That we don't hear more about the radicalized left wing people, because they're the ones who are doing all the shooting. Send you a link on Twitter. You should check later. Oh yeah, I'll check it later on today when I'm not driving. So anyway, a couple other things that are going on that I guess things I've been talking about on Twitter is one of my I don't even remember who I was responding to. I probably was responding to Brian Krasenstein, who put this long Twitter post on about if he were in the situation where he had a 13-year-old child and they were telling him that they were, questioning their gender, that he would, he had that you have a couple choices, right? That you have them go through puberty, right, and just get them counseling to wait, or the other choice would be put them on puberty blockers. And he was all gung ho about putting kids on puberty blockers, saying, quote, they are safe and absolutely reversible. Now, this is interesting, and I want you, anytime you hear someone say this, or write this, or whatever, you need to understand, right now, and I looked it up, I'm pretty sure I knew this already, but I had to look it up just to make sure, because I told him, like, wait a minute. Well, first of all, they're not reversible. Okay, these one the stunted growth because that puberty period for boys and girls is when they grow the most, and you stunt growth, and that's not reversible. Even after you take them off puberty blockers, that doesn't reverse. Here's what people think. Here's the myth. The myth of puberty blockers is you can go on puberty blockers, it'll pause your puberty, but as soon as you go off them, your puberty will start right where it left off, and it'll continue on through the normal time of puberty. That is false, 100% false. The reason they started using the puberty blockers were for kids who had precocious puberty. Their puberty started way earlier than it's supposed to. Okay, and they found out that a couple of these chemical castration drugs that they use on people who on sex offenders, they figured out that they will block the precocious puberty, but they would normally take those kids off of those drugs at the time that they were normally supposed to go through puberty. So those kids would end up going through a normal puberty because they'd take it off about at 10, 11, 12 years old when they would normally go through a normal puberty, right? And we're talking about precocious puberty, like kids who are starting to go through puberty at 6 and 7, and they're not really supposed to be. It's a rare thing, right? However, we also know that for sure now. Well, there's not. And here's the problem too. The other thing that he said was that they're safe and effective. That's their favorite words when it comes to things they like, and that these are. They've been approved. These are some, they've had safety testing and measures on them, right? They've had all this research. That's also false. And I had to look this up today to make sure I was right. First of all, there is no approval on these drugs to be used as puberty blockers. Every drug that they use for this is a drug they're doing off-label use, meaning it was created for something else, and then they found out it had this side effect on some people, and so they would and so they use it for a different use, just like when they were attempting to use ivermectin and all those other things for COVID. Okay, similar to that, using an off-label use, right? The FDA has never done any testing or approval for using these drugs they're using for puberty blockers for that purpose, or any long-term testing on children. Okay, so right now, everyone doing this puberty blocking bullshit is basically doing an experiment. Now, Marcy Bowers, head of the Professional Association of Transgender Health, who is supposedly the leading expert on, trans surgery and transition drugs and whatever, has even stated multiple times that, especially in boys who have gone on puberty blockers, 100% of those kids will never have sexual function, aka orgasm. Okay, and there's no kid on the planet who understands that, right? And also the stunting of growth, the development of bones and bone density and whatnot. So a lot of girls who go on puberty blockers and end up going on testosterone, they find that they start having osteoporosis in their 20s. And so anyway, I get on this thread with Ed Krasenstein about this, and oh my gosh, there are two people who decided to argue in my thread. They've been arguing for the last 4 days about this. And it was funny because they got to a point where they were talking about, well, if someone digs up your bones in 1,000 years, right, they'll be able to know whether you're a male or female, man or woman, whatever. I use those terms synonymously, obviously. And the one said, well, archaeologists have found out that in Egypt, for example, there were women who were found buried with items that would indicate that they were living as a man. Because in the crypts they would bury you. Apparently, they seem to think that things you were buried with were items that determined what you did in your life, right? So, who doesn't want a titanium jaw? Stop it! Stop it! That she functioned as a man. She was thought of as a man. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wait a minute. I had to back them up. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You said that this was a woman. So aren't you proving my point? That when you're proving this other person's point. If you were buried with all this stuff, but you said this was a woman buried with all this stuff. So obviously you proved their point that yes, they're still going to know that was a woman, regardless of what regardless of what they were buried with, or what clothes they were wearing, or what, whatever. That is speculation. Oh, it's totally speculation. But what they're claiming is that it happens enough that even in ancient cultures there was transgenderism. No, maybe they were just here's another possibility. Maybe it just meant you were buried with things that were part of what you did in the society, as far as your job or whatever, So there were women who did these things, and there were men who did these things. So you're buried with these kind of things, but other women didn't do that as a job, so they were buried with other kind of things. Or maybe they, if there were bigger women, they, had them go hunt too with the men. Who knows? But finding male objects hitherto means what the person who found it wants to mean. Exactly. That's exactly it. So that was kind of wild, was hearing that conversation. But this person just for 3 days has been saying, well, no, trying to explain why, that saying that there was transgender people for thousands of years. I don't know. It's kind of like my explanation of two-spirit. The people who, that's the other thing too. This person tried to say that the Native Americans, this is they said this is general, that Native Americans also all claim there's a third gender. And I was thinking, wait a minute, because there is one tribe in Canada that has this thing called two-spirit, right? But because the telephone game is always played on the internet, this person, and lots of people think this way, that, the Native Americans thought there was a third gender. The Native Americans thought there was something that was non-binary, whatever. And it's like, no. First of all, thank you, Cryptic, dropping a 5 spot in the tip jar. It says, the only time I have two-spirit is when I mix alcohol. Yes, thank you. Ding, that's a good one. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, so this first thing, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, Native American? Which Native Americans? Because you don't even know what you're talking about. Two-spirit was just a really nice way for one Indian to tell another, the guy over there was fucking nuts. No, that's not it, Africanus Diabli. I know exactly why there's the term two-spirit, and I'll tell you. I know exactly what it is, okay? One day, an Indian chief, there was a chief, right? Had several children. Had one male child that seemed to have a liking for the other male Indians, right? And so basically, he was gay. And so I'm saying that what happened was this chief, who didn't want to talk about his son being gay or whatever, he came up with new terms saying, well, he's just two-spirit. He made up a term, two-spirit, and it caught on. And that's why he wouldn't have to tell everyone that his son was gay. Anyway, hello, Midnight in Exile. Nice to see you. What does it say? Indigenous transsexuality is really prostitution and pedestry wrapped up in a magic. What? It's okay for people who didn't even have a written language. Yeah, I see it. I see that. It's like, look, this whole thing that, because I keep seeing this more and more lately. There have been transgender people for thousands of years, 5,000-year history of transgenderism. Well, you can say whatever you want to about people who aren't alive anymore, pretty much. You can make all kinds of shit up. I am going too slow. Damn. Turn this. I got to hit my cruise control here. Oh, not that high though. I don't want to get a ticket. In Minnesota, you're pretty good. If the speed limit's 70, you can drive 80, and you probably never get stopped. Anyway, yeah, his son was gay, and he didn't want to admit it. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So, anyway, all right. What are we gonna talk about? Midnight Exile, which probably means the shaman bad touch the kid. Oh, damn. That's a little rough. Alright, how many people do we have here? I can't even see that. I don't want to stare at my phone too long. Doesn't really make much of a difference if they're been trans people for millennia. Well, true, because still, you one, it's funny. They always talk about, gender is a social construct. Well, no, it's really not. The only way it's a social construct is when you apply it to inanimate objects, and that was the original even use of the term gender, was when referring to inanimate objects. And then who was it? I try to remember who was the first person to talk about this, referring to people. But it just got so out of hand now. Oh, I know the other thing I want to talk about. So, I live in the great state of Minnesota, and we have a Minnesota legislator I think it's the Minnesota House of Representatives, who is basically our version of Scott Wiener. You know, Scott Wiener is in California. The legislator who writes a lot of crazy ass bills, right? And in the Minnesota statutes, there is kind of revision talking about it's about gender and sexuality, whatever. It can't discriminate or whatever based on these certain things, but it specifically excludes people who are how do I put this for YouTube? Likers of children. Okay, the likers of children. It specifically excludes those people. Okay, starts with a P, ends with file, with the middle edo in the middle. Okay. This legislator, Scott Binky, or not Scott Binky, I don't know what the hell it's called now. Whatever this person's name is. That is the weirdest thing. Apparently has a bill in the Minnesota legislature to remove that clause from the statutes, effectively allowing for likers of kids, starts with a P, ends with a file, edo in the middle. Okay, is that working again? Looks like it is. Alright, this is back up. Am I back? Let me know. Well, hi there. How are you? Nice to see you all. What up? Anyway, we do have a couple legislators who are very, very good in this fight, but unfortunately, they just don't have the votes for most things. Hi, Kessler. What's up? Um, One of them though is Walter Hudson. He's fantastic. He's from the North Metro, and I'm going to try to get him on sometime because he's really, really fascinating. Very good, articulating positions against a lot of the nonsense. Yes, Lee Fink. Yeah, I know. Oh, so you must have missed a bunch of that. Where did the stream die? That's what I'm wondering. You can let me know. Because I just kept talking because I didn't realize it was dead until you said we were buffering. But if you have a chance, if you happen to be on Twitter in particular, look up Walter Hudson. Um, in fact, he could be. he looks like he could be my brother, actually. Oh, starts with a P, ends with Ophelia. So anyway, they're trying this Lee Fink is trying to remove a provision in Minnesota statutes regarding pedophilia, basically. So it's insane. You can find it on well, there's a couple places that you can find it, but it's showed up on social media. Oh, YouTube doing YouTube things didn't bother to tell me you went live. Well, and unfortunately, the stream that I set up didn't work either. So I'm on this just BDog9 live stream. So, all right. So anyway, let's see. Clearly written to be an applause line, and then one of the I don't know, one of the hype people, the people who's buffering again. Fuck me. Okay, there we go. It should be working. I see the green again. Oh, I never randomly sit in the left lane avocadosly. All right, so anyway, I was talking about Joe Biden and the union guys. So he's speaking in front of these union guys. I don't know how many there were because you can't tell from the video. Probably not a whole lot because it was a pretty quiet crowd. And so he gives this what's supposed to be an applause line, something about we have to finish the job. There's a couple people clapping, right? And whoever the hype person is, it's not strawberry, it's mango. Oh, I've ever had tried a strawberry burger. No, I have not. So anyway, one of the hype guys probably noticed that no one's clapping for this applause line, hardly. And so he starts going, 4 more years. And, and this is the video they put, because the Democrats named the tweet 4 more years, right? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. And I'm listening to it very carefully. And they're having a hard time getting the entire crowd to say it, first of all. Some of them are yelling it. But it's so incredibly lackluster, it's almost embarrassing, right? And so I said a couple times, and I'm like, wait a minute. Now, just to remind you, I just happen to be in a union because of where I work. Okay, if I didn't work there, I probably wouldn't be in a union. But I am, and I don't complain about it. Whatever, I get great health care coverage because of it. But what's fascinating in the place where I work is all union people. I don't know anybody in the place I work that is enthusiastic about Joseph Rahim Biden at all. And in fact, I hear more people wishing the guy with the funny hair was back. And I found it fascinating because here's the thing. Union leadership, 100% Joe Biden. Union rank and file workers, probably not so much. Probably not so much. So it's very interesting, that dynamic. So it's but yeah, you would think though, you'd think it'd be just a raucous, rock and rolling crowd. 4 more years. Oh no, it was a couple guys were yelling. That's going to keep him in office for another 4 years, if you know what I mean. So it's but no, I don't. It's very strange, and especially at my workplace. You know, like I said, union shop. I have yet to hear someone be all excited about Joe Biden. Okay, I gotta keep my eyes on the road here, going past a couple trucks. It's really, there's a lot of traffic today. Holidays, and I